I left my phone at a hawker center for over an hour, and when I came back, it was still there. That would never happen in most of the cities worldwide. But Singapore is just not like most cities. I've been living here for 3 years, and there are things about this place that will blow your mind and some things that might make you want to leave after 2 days. This video is brought to you by SafetyWing and their Nomad Insurance Complete. As someone living abroad, I know how important proper travel insurance is, and I'll tell you more about it in a bit. So now let me break down the pros and cons about Singapore so you know exactly what to expect. Number 1, safety. But listen, there's a catch. Singapore is incredibly safe. I'm talking, leave your phone at the hawker center for an hour and it is still there when I come back safe. Women can walk alone at 3 a.m. anywhere in the city. Parents let their kids take the MRT to school alone, and tourists don't worry about pickpockets because it's just not a thing here. But here is the trade-off. There are a lot of surveillance cameras everywhere around the city. Some people find this, creepy and say it feels like they are observed, that they're watched. I don't mind because I have nothing to hide. I have to admit, after living here for 3 years, I already start taking the safety for granted, and whenever I travel overseas, I start to get a bit careless, which I really have to tell myself, okay, this is not Singapore, take care of your belongings. But yeah, this just shows how rare the security level in Singapore actually really is. Number 2, the city is spotless, and here is why. The streets are so clean, you could honestly eat off the floor. I kid you not. MRT stations look brand new even though they've been around for years. There's no gum on the sideways, there's no trash on the floor, nowhere. And the reason for this is actually Singapore's strict fines, and I'll tell you about those in a minute because one of them got my mom into trouble. But the cleanliness makes the whole city feels like your living room, and I just feel that this is such a comfortable way of living. You just feel comfortable walking around everywhere. And it's one of those things you don't notice at first, but once you've been here for a while, you start to realize how special it is. Number 3, the perfect base for traveling. Singapore is hands down the best base for traveling around Asia. You're literally a few hours away from everywhere. Bali in 2.5 hours, Thailand is 2 hours away, Malaysia you can drive up into only 30 to 45 minutes. You can also just take the ferry to islands like St. John's here in Singapore, Vietnam, Philippines, Japan, all under 6 hours. Even Australia is only like 7 hours away. And flights are very cheap if you book in advance. And I've seen tickets to Bangkok for $100, Bali for $120. So you can do weekend trips without, breaking the bank. And all of this from Changi Airport, which has been ranked to be the best airport in the world for 13 times. And I just came back from a trip yesterday, and again, it's always fascinating to me. It took me less than 34 minutes from landing until my home. I made a video about this and I will link it here. So yeah, Changi is so efficient, and when you fly off, you actually want to arrive early because there's so much to do. There's the big waterfall, there are gardens, there's a free movie theater, and just so much more. You can definitely spend some time at Changi Airport. And speaking of traveling, here is something really important that a lot of people overlook and which will cost them a lot of money. This video is sponsored by SafetyWing and their Nomad Insurance Complete plan. So if you are traveling to live abroad or travel long-term, proper health insurance is honestly one of the most important things to sort out. Here is what makes Nomad Insurance Complete different. It covers you at home and in 175 other countries. So you can also get it in your home country, but it will also cover if you travel often or if you move abroad for just a few months. So you don't need to hop in and out of your insurance, which is sometimes very confusing. So it basically follows you everywhere. This is including hospitalizations, emergencies, surgeries, preventative care, even mental health support and maternity coverage. Second, you can see any licensed provider anywhere. Private hospital, public clinic, it doesn't matter. There's no network limitations, which is huge when you're constantly moving between countries or living somewhere new. And then third, claims process is really super simple. You tell them what happened and they get your money back within just a few days. You can simply do it on their app without any paperwork. For ages 18 to 39, it's around $160 per month, which is honestly so worth it just for the peace of mind. And the last thing you want if you're living abroad or traveling frequently is to worry about what happens if you get sick or injured. So if you're planning to travel long-term or move abroad, check out SafetyWing using my link in the description. It helps to support this channel at no extra cost for you. Number 4, the food paradise. But you need to go to the right places. Singaporeans are obsessed with food, and you will understand why within 24 hours. You can find every cuisine you can even imagine. Chinese, Malay, Indian, Japanese, Korean, Western, everything. And it doesn't even have to be expensive. Go to a hawker center and you will find amazing meals for only $4. A plate of chicken rice, and for those of you who've been following me for a while know that this is my favorite dish, costs you between 4 and 6 Singapore dollars. For a single person, that is honestly cheaper than cooking. And I haven't been cooking for a very long time. But yeah, food is just so good. I hope my mom doesn't watch this video. I did not unlearn to cook, I promise. Number 5, public transport is too good. Forget about taxis, forget renting a car, because the MRT is your best friend, and it is honestly so cheap as well. One MRT ride is around 150 to 2 Singapore dollars. Buses are even cheaper. You can travel across the entire island for less than what a single short trip would cost me back in Switzerland. In Switzerland, I would pay 9 Singapore dollars for, let's say, a 15-minute train ride into the city. So let's say I will just want to see a friend, so that's back and forth, that's $18 just to go into the city and meet a friend, and then I have to pay another $10 for a coffee. So that's $30 just for going for coffee. Oh my god, that's insane. Yeah, Singapore is definitely a lot cheaper, and it's very efficient, almost more efficient than taking a taxi anyway. And you don't even need a ticket. It's super easy. You can just tap your credit card or even your Apple Watch and you're good to go. Trains come every 2 to 3 minutes, and also Google Maps helps you to navigate the way. Okay, and now here is what could ruin your trip, or just things that you need to know before coming here. Singapore is amazing as mentioned, but it's not for everyone. So if these 4 things bother you, you might reconsider coming here. First one would be, this is not a beach destination. Yes, Singapore has a beach, Sentosa, and I honestly personally really like it because I do not come from a country with beaches. But if you compare it to Thailand or Philippines, Bali, you cannot really compare. Sentosa is great for beach clubs, fun activities like kayaking, zip lining, or just a quick swim, but that's it. So if you want beautiful beaches, just fly to Bali or Phuket instead. It's very close by and you will get rewarded with a better beach. Next up is break a rule and you will pay, literally. Singapore is called the fine city and they mean it. The rules here are very, very strict and fines are super expensive. Let me give you some examples. Chewing gum, $10,000 for importing, and eating or drinking at the MRT will cost you $500. Smoking in the wrong areas will be around 200 to 250 fines. And you know, my mom got fined here for smoking on Orchard Road. I told her so many times when she came here, like, Mom, this is not Switzerland. You can't smoke anywhere. And she was like, yeah, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And then, you know, the next morning she called me up saying, Marion, I got fined $250 on the spot. You know, lesson learned. She never smoked directly on the street and always looked out for these designated smoking areas ever since. She's visiting next week for the 7th time. And yeah, lesson learned. Oh, and drugs. Zero tolerance. The death penalty still applies here. And now they've also increased their controls for vapes. It's not allowed to bring one into Singapore, and also smoking vapes is prohibited. They've been starting to do these body searches at MRT stations with heavy fines. Yeah, you might just leave your vape at home. Also, obviously, weed is not allowed, which might be legal where you come from, but here it is a serious crime and you can go to jail. But honestly, in Singapore, if you just follow the basic rules, you don't litter, don't smoke anywhere, you know you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just behave like a civilized person. It's not that complicated. And again, the rules are actually part of why Singapore works so well and why everything is so clean and works like clockwise. The cleanliness, the safety, the efficiency, it's all part of the system. Next up, which is important to know, drinking is expensive. If you want to party a lot with cheap drinks, go to Thailand or Vietnam because alcohol in Singapore is very expensive. Let me give you some examples. $12, a beer is $12 to $15, wine $15 to $20 a glass. Cocktails can be between $18 and $30. Rooftop bars are stunning, but they will destroy your budget. So it's great for a special night out, but just not for everyday partying. If you still want to drink, have a look out for happy hour deals and local bars in HDB city areas, which is less expensive, but definitely compared to other Southeast Asian countries, alcohol here is very, very expensive. And last but not least, the heat is no joke. It is 30 degrees every single day, all year round. Humidity hits 90% regularly. There are no real seasons here. It is just hot and humid all year long. There's a rainy season from November to January, which means heavy rain, which can last for a few days. But honestly, for me, the weather is just perfect. I just love the heat, and you'll never hear me complain about the weather. But yeah, if you prefer cooler weather and you hate sweating, Singapore is gonna feel overwhelming for you, especially because of the humidity, which a lot of people are not used to. You know, your clothes just stick on your body, and it feels like it's like just like a hot wind blowing in your face sometimes. But yeah, if you just bring sunscreen, a sun hat, drink a lot of water, you'll be fine, you know. A little bit of sweat never killed anybody. Singapore is my happy place. I've been here for 3 years and I still find new things to love every week, and I will never stop talking about how much I love this place. On Swizzyinsg on Instagram, you can find a lot more tips and tricks about life in Singapore, you know, where to eat, what to do, important things to know from a local's perspective. And if you have more questions, please feel free to DM me anytime. I honestly answer every single message I get. Watch this video up next because the algorithm thinks you might like it. And if this video was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel and it helps me to produce more free videos for you. See you in the next one.